On this great autumn morning in Wisconsin, it's certainly my pleasure on behalf of the Board of Directors and the officers of the World Dairy Expo to extend a warm invitation to you to watch this great show today. Good morning, everyone. My name is Arthur Nesbitt, and I'll be making the announcement here at ringside today, telling you about the classes that are coming into the ring sponsors, and other activities that are held in conjunction with this 23rd edition of this great show. The judges today for the Central National Holstein Show are Howard Binder, who's the official judge, Howell Farm at Fort Lupton, Colorado, and the associate judge is Paul R. King from Moorfield, West Virginia. Okay, Judge Binder has completed the class. Now for the reasons on the class, Judge Howard Binder. Howard?
Nice class to start this afternoon's show. I'm going to go with the cow to me. I feel the most sound, the most strength and body throughout, and correlating just a little more balance in this cow than some of the others down the line. Number one over number two, primarily, just a little more length of body, a little more hardness out over the top line than what I believe is an extremely good uddered cow in second place. Number two over number three, just a little more strength, a little more body and heart up front than is a real sharp, clean cow in third. Number three over number four, well, the next three cows to me much the same pattern, but I'm going with the third cow over fourth, just a little more length of body, a little more openness of ribbing, a little nicer out over the top line than the cow in fourth. And five over six, a cow branding not quite the substance and scale as a big cow in sixth, but I feel we have just a little more cleanness of bone, a little smoother and blending of the fore udder than the big cow in sixth.
Thanks very much, Howard. That completes the 3- and 4-year-old dry cow class. And coming in the ring now will be the 5-year-old and over dry cow class, born between September 1, 1984, and the trophy will be presented by the Rock County Holstein Breeders Association of Wisconsin. And now for the reasons in the class. Howard?
Nice class of cows. I feel the class fits together real nicely. I'm going to start, to me, with, I feel, a real handy winner in this class. Cow, just an extreme amount of balance and power, just holds together real nicely. Going over the second cow, just more cow. Just more substance, more scale than the real well-balanced, good, clean, angular cow in second. Number 2 over number 3, cow, granting not quite the substance and scale as the bigger cows in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but I feel a cow with more correctness and balance throughout. Nicer out over the top, walking much more correctly on her hind feet and legs, and just a little nicer out over the rump than a more powerful cow in 3rd. 3rd over 4th, a cow I just like showing a little more balance, a little more symmetry to the udder than is the big cow in 4th. 4th over 5th, one of the closer placings, but I feel we have just a little more openness of ribbing, a little more power, a little nicer right over the wither areas than is the cow in 5th.
That completes Class 744, the aged dry cow class. Entering the ring now is the spring heifer class. Entry number 731, your class 731. The award will be presented by the South Dakota Holstein Association. When I do announce the class, we of course would like a representative from the sponsor to come to the ring to present the trophy. Now for the reasons on the class. Howard?
Nice class of calves, but again in this class I feel we have a rather handy winner to start the class with. Calf just a little more style, balance throughout. Calf just walking a little nicer on her hind feet and legs and is the real sharp calf in second. Number 2 over number 3, again, I feel these two calves fit much the same pattern, but I feel we have just a little more calf in our second calf, just a little more substance, a little more scale than our calf in third. Number 3 over number 4, both these calves, I guess not feeling quite like they should today, but I feel we have just a little more openness of ribbing, a little more depth of heart in our third calf over our fourth calf. But the first 4 calves, all good, clean, long-necked, angular calves.
Okay, thanks very much, Howard. That completes the spring heifer calf class, and coming in the ring now is class number 732, the winter heifer class. Now for the reasons on the class, Judge Howard Binder. Howard?
Exceptional good class of calves again. The first 10, just an outstanding class of calves. I narrowed it down. I'm going to go with the style and overall balance. The first 2 calves are a close pair of calves, but I feel we have just a little more cleanness, a little more length of neck in our first over our second calf. Number 2 over number 3, primarily the way she's handling her hind feet and legs. Here again, I like the length of neck in the third calf, but I just like the way the second calf's handling her hind feet and legs today. Number 3 over number 4, again, a good pair of calves, but I feel we have just a little more heart, a little more openness of ribbing in our third calf over our fourth. Fourth over fifth, here again, a definite advantage in style, just a little more heart than the real clean long calf in fifth. But a real nice class of calves way on down.
Thanks, Howard. Next in the ring will be class number 733, the fall heifer calf class. Now for the reasons on the class, Judge Howard Binder.
Another nice class of calves, but I felt the first two calves sorted themselves out quite handily. I feel we have just a little more style and balance, a little more strength out over our loin in our first over our second calf, but both extremely clean front-ended calves. Number 2 over number 3, primarily just a little more openness ribbing, a little more heart than the tall, clean, angular calf in third. Number 3 over number 4, a calf I did move down a couple. I just feel she's handling her feet and legs a little more correctly, just a little cleaner in the hock than is the calf in fourth. Fourth over fifth, again, primarily on the legs, I feel we have just a little more cleanliness, a little more the way she moves out, and a little more walking uphill than the heifer in fifth. Number 5th over 6th, a heifer in 6th. A heifer I really admire, the openness ribbing, the depth of rib, but a heifer that you just like to change the way she's handling her hind feet and legs. 6 over 7, primarily just more heifer, a little more openness, a little more body.
Okay, thanks very much, Howard. That completes the judging of the fall heifer calf class. Coming in the ring now is class number 734. The summer yearling heifer class. Dr. McGurk, will you come to the announcer's stand, please? Now for the reasons on this class, Judge Binder. Howard?
Another nice class, not maybe quite as much depth in a couple of past classes, but I think we have quite a handy winner again in this class. Heifer just walks out a little more style and grace, a little more length and cleanness to the neck up front. Number 2 over 3, primarily just a little more heifer. Fits together a little nicer over the withers and the shoulder, just blending into the neck a little nicer than the real dairy heifer in third. Third over fourth, here again we have a heifer just handling her feet a little more correctly, just walking out with a little more style. Number 4 over number 5, a heifer just a little stronger in the loin area, just a little more forerib and a little more openness to ribbing than a smooth black heifer in fifth.
Thanks very much, Howard. That completes the summer yearling heifer class.
Another nice class of heifers. I'm going to start the class with, granted, not the biggest heifer in the class, but to me an extremely well-balanced heifer, moving out with a lot of style and overall balance. Following with the heifer much the same pattern, but I feel we have just a little more heifer in our first, maybe walking a little nicer on her hind feet and legs than is the second. Number 2 over number 3, primarily just a little cleaner, a little more angular, a little nicer the way she fits behind the shoulders and walking more correctly again than is a more powerful heifer in third. 3 over 4, just a little more length of body, a little nicer at the tail setting than is the deeper bodied heifer in fourth. 4th over 5th, again, just walking more correctly on her hind feet and legs, just showing a little more maybe breed character throughout in our 4th over 5th.
Now for reasons on the class. Howard?
Again, a real nice class of heifers. I'm going to start the class. Granted, she is the biggest heifer in the class, but to me, the most correct heifer. Walking out, handles her feet real nice. A heifer walks with a lot of style on the move. Putting her over the heifer in second, a heifer I feel much the same pattern, but just a little more ribbing, a little more openness, a little more power in our first over our second heifer. Number 2 over number 3, primarily on length of body, a heifer just a little longer throughout, just a little nicer out over the rump than is the heifer in third. Number 3 over number 4, again, a close placing, but I feel we have just a little more rib, a little more body on scale in our third over our fourth heifer. Number 4 over number 5, primarily just walking out a little nicer, a little more correctly on her hind feet and legs than is the heifer in fifth.
Thanks very much, Howard. Now for the reasons on the class. Howard?
Nice class of heifers again. I feel we're starting with a nice, the biggest heifer, just showing a little more substance and scale, walking out on a real nice set of feet and legs. And to me, the utter promise, the heifer looks extremely good underneath for this stage of the game. Going over the second heifer, just primarily a little more heifer. Number 2 over number 3, again, just walking a little more correctly on her feet and legs than is the real stylish heifer in third. Third over fourth, just a little nicer up front, a little nicer out over the rump area, but I feel these two heifers fit real nice together. And then fourth over fifth, just a little cleaner, a little more angular, a little more dariness than the big powerful heifer in fifth.
Thanks very much, Howard. This completes the fall yearling heifer class. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the past winners of the Klusendorf Trophy. Now for the 1989 winner. The winner is Norman Nabholz, West Union, Iowa. Norman, 36 years old, was raised on a registered Jersey farm in northeast Iowa and attended Iowa State University, where he was a member of the dairy cattle judging team. In addition to showing his own cattle, he has shown numerous partnership cattle and has a tremendous success in the show ring. Here at World Dairy Expo, he has had the champion 10 times and was premier exhibitor 6 times. He was premier exhibitor at the All-American Jersey Show 4 times and showed the reserve national champion there 3 times. Norman also has had a judging career which has involved several state fairs and outstanding Jersey Show here on Wednesday. He is receiving the Chris Camp Trophy from last year's winner, Kenneth Empey. He is representing Chris Camp, who could not be here today. Chris is 91 years of age, in good health, but has an eyesight problem, and for the first time didn't feel that he should be driving from Florida to Madison, Wisconsin. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big hand to Norman Adamholtz and all the Klusendorf winners. Certainly, they're a very prestigious group and add so much to the show ring. And now we will have the parade of the first and second winners of each of the 7 heifer classes. Judge Binder has made his decision. Howard, so we turn the microphone over to you.
Here again, I think all the exhibitors should be commended. To me, I feel it's been a real good competitive show up to this point. Now it's anybody's guess who's going to do what, and I wouldn't argue with you. But today, as far as the junior and reserve junior champion, I was real pleased when the first and second heifers come back out. And I've narrowed it down to the first place winners. Here again, the first and second heifers are all extremely good heifers. But today, if the first place junior yearling would lead out, I like this heifer. She's clean, she's angular, and a real well-balanced heifer. Then to follow this heifer, I went with the first place senior calf. I feel these 2 animals fit together extremely well. And here again, they're clean, they're angular. They're just, I like the big December yearling heifer, but these heifers are a little harder on top. And as far as the future, to me, these 2 animals fit together real well. And this is your junior and reserve junior champion.
Okay, thanks very much. Now for the reasons on the class. Judge Binder.
Good class of young bulls. I'm going to start the class. I feel a rather handy winner today. Just a little more strength, a little nicer up front, a little bull walking a little more uphill than the bull in second. Number 2 over number 3, just a little more power, a little more scale and ribbing than the taller dairy calf in third. 3 over 4, just a little more length to neck, a little more cleanness throughout.
Now for the reasons on the class. Howard.
Real nice dairy bull to start the class with. I feel we have maybe just a little more length to body, a little more style maybe than the calf in second. The second calf, one of the younger calves in the class, but I feel we have a definite advantage in size and scale. Number 2 following much the same pattern as the number 1 bull. He's a clean, angular dairy bull, putting him over the bull in third primarily on his cleanness and dairiness. Number 3 over number 4. Here again, I feel we have just a little maybe more style in the third over our fourth bull.
There are 8 in that class, and we will give you the placings. I'd first like to announce that coming in the ring now is the junior yearling bulls born between March 1, 1988 and August 31, 1988. Now for the reasons. Howard.
Real nice pair of bulls to top the class, and I felt a close placing, but I feel we have maybe just a little more style, a little more dairiness in our first bull, a little cleaner in the hock in our first over our second bull. Number 2 over number 3, again, a bull just blends into the shoulder a little nicer, a little more openness of forerib than the bull in third. I feel we have maybe just a little more angularity and a little more cleanness of bone in our first bull over our second. Number 2 over number 3, primarily just a little more ribbing, a little more openness of rib, a little more length to body in the lighter bull over the third bull. Number 3 over number 4, here again just a little more bull, a little more heart, a little more ribbing than the shorter neck bull in fourth.
All right, next we will have the selection of the champion bull, and the trophy is presented by the Alto Dairy Cooperative of Waupun, Wisconsin. All right, the judge has completed the selection of the champion bull and reserve champion bull. I'll turn the microphone over to Judge Howard Binder.
Not the biggest bull show, but I feel we've had some respective tops. And narrowing it down for junior champion, I'm going to go with the bull calf today. I feel we have just a little more, the senior bull calf, I feel we have just a little more length of body, a little nicer behind the shoulders, and walking more correctly on his hind feet and legs. Then to follow, I'm going to stick with the second place bull calf. I feel these two bulls fit nice together in their class, and here again, they're both clean, angular bulls, being just a little nicer the way he's handling his hind feet and legs than the senior yearling bull, just a little nicer in the shoulder than the bull calf. So for champion and reserve champion bull, the first two bull calves.
All right, thanks very much, Howard.
Four nice groups. I feel maybe the closest placing in our first two groups, but I feel there's just a little more angularity and dariness in our first over our second. Number two over number three, just a little more scale, a little more maturity and substance.
Well, thanks very much, Howard. I do want to express our thanks to Howard and Paul.
2,000 now, bid now, 3,000 now, bid now, 4. On a 3,000 now, put on my 35. 3 here, 35. 3,000 now, put on my 32. 32 and another, yes, 32 and another, bid now, 5. 32 and another, put on my 5.
And out of the great Debbie family. Now his dam completes 4 generations of great excellent cows, all over 40,000 pounds of milk and all over 1,300 pounds of fat. His dam is a national champion and his granddam's a former national champion. His dam in the latest world has just come to you in the mail, says that his dam is the high protein record of all the cows in the world that are scored excellent with a combined fat and protein of over 100 pounds. His dam, the Deborah cow, ranks number 1. And she ranks second for both fat and milk only to the great Ella.
20,000 now, bid now, 25,000 now, bid now, 30. 30,000 now, put on my 35. 35,000 now, put on my 5. Now 40,000 now, put on my 40. And now 45. 40,000 now, put on my 45. I put on 5, nobody come along to 5, nobody make it a 45. There's been a lot of talk, horse, what this bull's value might be.
Well, you know the story on the Sexation bull. He's one of the greatest, maybe the greatest son of elevation. You know that the dam is one of the greatest, maybe the greatest.
42, 42 now, 45. 42,000 now, put on my 45. You're out, him. At 42, 45. 42,000 now, put on 45. Now 7. At 45, yes, 7. And now 50. At 50,000 now, put on my 50. Now 50, now 50, now 52. At 50,000 now, put on my 51. Now 2. At 51,000 now, put on my 2. 51,000 now, put on my 2. Now put on my 52. And I have 51.
The Canadian national anthem. On this great autumn morning in Wisconsin, it's certainly my pleasure on behalf of the Board of Directors and the officers, the World Dairy Expo, to extend a warm invitation to you to watch this great show today. Good morning, everyone. My name is Arthur Nesbitt, and I'll be making the announcement here at ringside today, telling you about the classes that are coming in the ring sponsors, and other activities that are held in conjunction with this 23rd edition of this great show. The judges today for the Central National Holstein Show are Howard Binder, who's the official judge, Howell Farm at Fort Lupton, Colorado, and the associate judge is Paul R. King from Moorfield, West Virginia. Mike Ashworth will be providing music for you, as he has for the past 11 years, to add to the show. And indeed, he's a very talented person, and we appreciate his involvement with us. At the present time, of course, we have class number 751, and this class is a junior 2-year-old cow class, born between March 1st, 1987 and August 31, 1987. Merle Howard. Judge Howard Binder.
Well, a real nice class of junior 2-year-olds to start the second days or the mature female show. I'm going to start with this big, massive open heifer. To me, just excelling in the next 2 or 3 heifers, just more length of body, more openness of ribbing throughout. Number 2 over number 3, one of the closer placings, but here again, I feel we have just a little more strength in the real sharp angular heifer in third. Just a little more heart to her, but 2 extremely well-balanced dairy heifers in second and third. Number 3 over number 4, just a little more length of neck, a little more cleanness of bone. Number 4 over number 5, primarily on balance of udder. 2 very similar heifers, but I feel we have just a little more balance, a little more rear udder in number 4 over number 5. Again, an extremely nice class of 2-year-olds from end to end almost, but we got to start somewhere. I'm going to start with a heifer, probably not the overall best udder heifer in the class, but a heifer that is a tremendously bodied heifer. She's tall, clean, angular. Putting her over the second heifer, I feel we have a definite advantage at height of withers, length of body, just a little more openness than the heifer following her in second. Number 2 over number 3, putting her over this real sharp, clean heifer in third, but I feel we have an advantage in strength today. Still a good, clean, sharp shouldered heifer, but I feel we have just an edge and overall body strength and openness and capacity of the sharper heifer in third. Number 3 over number 4, primarily on this advantage in dairiness and cleanness, just a little cleaner in the neck, a little higher and wider in the rear udder than the more powerful cow in fourth. Then fourth over fifth, a bigger, ruggeder heifer, but I feel we have just a little more bloominess in the udder, a definite advantage in as far as style and walking out today.
Thanks very much, Howard. And coming in across the ring now is the 3-year-old cow class, 3-year-olds. Judge Howard Binder.
Well, a tremendous class of cows way on down the line. There's a lot of great or good cows in this class. But I'm going to start this class with Granite, not the biggest cow in the class, but to me the cow showing the most overall angularity and symmetry and balance throughout. To me, a tremendously well-balanced cow. Going over the second place cow, I feel we have just a little more openness of rib, just a little more heart than the big, tall, extremely dairy cow in second. Number 2 over number 3, primarily just a little more length of neck, a little nicer in the udder, a little more bloominess to the udder, a little more chrome on the udder, a closer placing, but I just feel we have a little more length of body, a little more length of neck, a little more correctness the way she's handling her hind feet and legs over the cow in third. Third over fourth, the cow just showing a little more bloominess today, a tremendously bodied cow and uddered cow in fourth, but just not quite as bloomy as the 3 cows above her. Number 4 over number 5, just more cow. A stronger top cow, just handling her hind feet and legs more correctly, just a little stronger and a little more body throughout. Number 5 over 6, a cow just showing a little more openness of ribbing, a little nicer over the top than the big white cow in 6.
Thanks very much, Howard. There were 41 in this class, 41. The 4-year-old cow class is class number 754, is coming into the ring. Judge Howard Binder.
Another tremendous class of cows way on down the line. But I'm going to start with this big, massive cow. A cow that is just open from end to end. A lot of style, a lot of dairiness, and just real clean and angular from end to end. Going over the second place cow, extremely well balanced cow in second, but just not quite as much cow as we have in first, but a real nice pair of cows to start the class with. Number 2 over number 3, I feel we have just a little more openness, a little more cleanness today. Maybe the cow tracking a little better on her hind feet and legs. Number 2 over number 3. Number 3 over number 4, cow just a little nicer in the rear udder than this real deep-bodied cow in 4th. Number 4 over number 5, I feel we have a slight advantage in strength of chest and heart, but here again, 5 real nice cows to start the class with.
Now for the reasons on the class.
Another real nice class of 5-year-old cows. I'm going to go with the first black cow over the second. A cow just a little nicer out over the top line, just glides along a little nicer, moving a little more correctly on her hind feet and legs today. Number 2 over number 3, again, a tremendously framed cow in third, but I feel we have a slight edge or advantage in mammary attachments, especially the foreudder on the third cow. The second cow, just a little sharper, a little cleaner up front than the more powerful cow in third. Number 3 over number 4, one of the closer placings, but I'm going to strength the front end today. I just feel we have a great advantage, not a slight, but a great advantage in the third over our fourth place cow. More width between the front legs and a definite advantage in forerib, granting maybe foreudder attachment on the fourth place cow over the third, but a fine pair of cows. Then fourth over fifth, again, a closer placing, but I feel we have just a little more style, maybe in our fourth over the real clean angular cow in fifth.
There are 23 shown in this class. We'll have the 20 top placings for you shortly. The 6-year-old and older class is coming in the ring. Now for the reasons on the class.
A tremendous class of aged cows. I'm starting this class with a cow that's in bloom today, a tremendously big, powerful, deep-bodied cow, a cow that carries out with an extremely well-balanced udder. Putting her over the cow in second, extremely dairy cow, but I feel we just have a little more cow, a little more openness of ribbing, a little more strength up front than the real clean angular cow in second. Number 2 over number 3, primarily, the cleanness and dairiness today. The cow just a little more bloom than the big cow, powerful cow in third. 3 over 4, here again, a cow with a little more size, a little more length of body, a little more depth of forerib than the lighter cow in fourth. 4th over 5th, again, a cow, to me, just tracking out a little nicer, just a little more length of body, but a closer placing, 4th over 5th. 5th over 6th, balance of udder. I feel the cow is just a little nicer, a little fuller in the foreudder than the big angular cow in 6th.
Judge Binder?
Yes, we're pleased the way the udder's milked out. I'm going to leave the placings as stand. We decided to make the second place cow first best udder, third place cow second best udder. Again, some extremely good udders out here, but just a little more chrome, a little more width the rear udder in the second over the third as far as the udder rivets.
We'll turn it over the reasons, or 4 reasons, to Howard Binder. Howard?
Again, all the heifers milked out relatively well. I did make one switch, the second and third, making the second heifer first best udder. I feel we have an extremely quality, pliable udder. Then following with the second best udder, I'm going to the tall black heifer. To me, these 2 heifers milked out extremely well. Just a lot of quality and pliability to both udders.
Okay, thanks very much, Howard.
Again, I feel all udders milked out real acceptable, making the first best udder on the big cow in fourth. I feel we have a definite advantage in height and width and rear udder over the first place cow. Here again, the first place cow, a super uddered cow, but just a little higher and wider in the rear udder. And I feel our first cow over the other cows, just blending a little nicer in the fore udder to the body wall. Again, all cows milked out real acceptable. And I went ahead with the second place cow, making her best udder. Both her and the black cow, I feel, just a little more width and height than the rear udders. I'm going with the second over the third cow, maybe just a little more capacious udder, but still is more firmly attached. Excuse me. Then the third cow, and then the third cow here again, just a little nicer as far as the firmness and width of rear udder attachment. Again, the cows to me milked out extremely well. I'm making the second place cow or the first black cow the best udder. I feel we have just a little more capacious udder, but still it's high and wide and the rear udder blends in extremely nice. Going with the fifth place cow with the second udder, an extremely well, the center support to me, just a little more center support and cleavage in the fifth cow over some of the other cows. Yes, all cows again milked out relatively well. I did make the switch 7th and 8th. I feel we have just a little more center support, a little more balance of the right four-quarter and the 7th over the 8th cow. Then going with the first place best udder cow, a cow for this age, it milked out extremely well, extremely pliable quality udder in the fifth cow coming out. Then following with the second best udder, the 7th place cow, a cow just a little more balanced from fore to rear quarters, and the teats placed more squarely on the udder than some of the other cows. Well, it's been a tremendous show, and it's been a pleasure and a privilege to place this show. I know there's going to be some disagreements or arguments. If that's true, come place them yourself. But I am satisfied. I am satisfied with what I have selected to bring out for champions. I've narrowed it down to these 5 or 6 in the ring. Here again, I'm not for the milk out. I think it takes away a great deal from the showing of a great cow. The cows look different. The cows look different milked out. There's some tremendous cows here, not only the center of the ring, but on the outside of the ring. But the way, or the ones I've narrowed it down, I'm going to go with the first place 4-year-old today for senior champion. I'm going to follow her with the second place 4-year-old. I feel this pair of cows fit together extremely nice in the class. Comparing them with their 5-year-olds, they're a little nicer over the top line, a little more correct in the leg. They're an extremely nice pair of uddered cows also. Going over, they're tremendously bodied aged cow, but they both milked out just a little nicer. And I'm going to stick with these 2 cows. I feel they fit together real nicely for senior and reserve senior champion. Again, it's been a tremendous show the past 2 days. We've got our two junior champion heifer, both junior and reserve junior champion females here. But they've got their day. I'm going to stay with the two senior females for grand and reserve grand. I do feel the heifers fit much the same pattern. And again, it has been a tremendous show.
Okay, thank you, Howard. The grand champion of the 1989 Central National Holstein Show then is entry number 426, C. Hansen, Pre-Star Mona Lisa, and owned by Gay Ridge Holsteins of Edgemville, Maryland. Congratulations. And the reserve grand champion of our 1989 show is number 425, Donadale Jet Crystal, owned by R. Jack Fraser, Dr. G. Wood, and John Bell of Brampton, Ontario. Again, we extend our heartiest congratulations to you on these fine achievements. For the Fay Barney Recognition Award is number 385, Oak Knoll Lancer Bunny, and owned by Douglas Gregson of Hillsborough, Ontario. Howard?
6 nice groups here, a close placing on top. I feel maybe we have just a little more maturity, a little more strength over the top lines in our first group over our second. 2 over 3, maybe just a little more angularity, a little more dariness. We've got the one big, powerful, extremely good dry cow in the third group, but just a little more dariness and angularity in our second over our third group. But 6 real nice groups. Easiest class I've had all day, but there is just a one entry, and I feel real deserving of a first place premium. It's too bad there isn't more competition, but 4 real good individuals in this class. Two nice groups, but I feel maybe we have just a little more uniformity, a little more shapeliness together in our first over our second group.
Hello, I'm Paul King. I'm from Warfield, West Virginia, and with me is Howard Bonder from the Central National Show here at Madison, Wisconsin. Howard, what do you think of today's show?
Well, I have been here once before in the past, 4 or 5 years ago, and I think it was a tremendously strong show. One of the strongest things is like the younger cow classes, the senior 2, 3, and 4-year-olds, where the quality was real deep down into classes. Granted, we didn't have quite as many cows in, say, the 5-year-old and age cow classes, but the younger cow classes was good cows from top to bottom.
Howard, what do you think the future of the Central National Show is going to be?
Well, I personally think that the Central National is still the largest, best attended show of any show in the world. And I see the future only to be the same. I think it is a strong show. It has been a strong show. And everybody thinks of Madison as the world #1 dairy show.
Okay, here we go. As I look over the fruits of our love so far, I'm amazed at all we've got. Big cars and shiny rings, but the simple things of our love are more than money can buy. The best things in love are free, things that I really need. The look in your eyes I see when you're...
This is what you call traveling. Oh, such a stuff. Can't get enough of her. She's Nerd and Sammy Swiss, we take command. We travel through the country and we brag about our cheese. We never found a person that our cheese wouldn't please. We're the Nuggets of Wisconsin. She's Nuggets of Wisconsin. We represent America's dairyland. Oh yeah, we represent America's dairyland.
Mrs. Thompson is here to present this year's winner, the A.C. Whitey Thompson Award. And this year's winner of the A.C. Whitey Thompson Award is Ken Mueller of Arlington, Minnesota. I'd like to tell you he's 28 years of age and has been in charge of the Elgin View showstring for 10 years. He has shown a tremendous courtesy to show management and fellow exhibitors at the World Dairy Expo. Please stand for the Netherlands anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, we will bring on the grand champions alphabetically. So leading the parade is the grand champion Ayrshire. Her name is Sunnymead's Jade Silk, and shown and comes from Knowlton, Quebec, Canada. The breeder of this fine animal is Jamie Cotton of Navon, Ontario, Canada, and she's being escorted by Alan Barr of Knowlton. Ladies and gentlemen, our 1989 Grand Champion Ayrshire. Coming into the ring now is a Grand Champion Brown Swiss. She's Lindsay Convincer Elaine, and she comes from Humphrey, Nebraska, and is being escorted by Lauren Hellbush, and she was bred by the Hellbush family. She was the World Dairy Expo Supreme Champion in 1988 and best bred and owned of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, our 1989 Grand Champion Brown Swiss.
Okay.
Moving along, the Grand Champion Guernsey is Pendel Cush's Glenna. And she is exhibited by Emily Dawn Brandstetter of Edmonton, Kentucky. She was bred by Ray and Louise Whitmer of Willow Street, Pennsylvania, and she's being escorted by Emily's father, Fowler Brandstetter. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1989 Grand Champion Guernsey. The Grand Champion Holstein is Hanson Pre-Star Mona Lisa, and she is exhibited by Gay Ridge Holsteins, Greg Wilcom and Charles Burrier of Iamsville, Maryland. And she was bred by Hanson Holsteins. She's escorted by Chris Hill of Woodbine, Maryland. She is 4 years of age. She's been classified excellent at 94. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1989 Grand Champion Holstein. The 1989 Grand Champion Jersey is Golden Lorry, and she is owned by Rockella Jersey Farm Limited of Hornby, Ontario, Canada. She was bred by Dr. Max Lau of Plainfield, Indiana, and she is led by Lauren Ella of Hornby, Ontario. She is a 6-year-old. She's classified excellent at 4 years of age. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grand Champion Jersey for the 1989 World Dairy Expo. The 1989 Milking Shorthorn Grand Champion is Ritchie's Sergeant Sunbeam, and she is owned by David and Scott Ritchie, Pinehurst Farms, Daleville, Indiana, and Muncie, Indiana. She is bred by David and Scott Ritchie, and she's being escorted today by David Ritchie. She's Grand Champion at the 89 Illinois State Fair, the 87 All-American 4-year-old, and was the World Dairy Expo Reserve Grand Champion as a 4-year-old. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1989 Grand Champion Milking Shorthorn. The second runner-up, ladies and gentlemen, is Pendale Acushus Glenna, the Grand Champion Guernsey. The second runner-up, or the first runner-up, excuse me, Hanson Pre-Star Mona Lisa, the Grand Champion Holstein. And now for the big moment. America's Supreme Champion for 1989 is Lindale Convincer Elaine, the Grand Champion Brown Swiss. Congratulations. We would like America's Supreme Champion to come up on the stage to be recognized and to receive the Sidney Wanzer trophy presented by Dairy Equipment Company. The Supreme Champion was selected from 1,506 dairy animals that were shown in this ring.